Thank you, Senator Whitehouse. Senator Grassley?
At last year's FBI oversight hearing, Ray committed to protecting whistleblowers that have approached my office about wrongdoing at the department and the FBI. Do you commit to me, this committee, and the Senate as a whole that any retaliatory conduct against whistleblowers will be disciplined?
I do, Senator, and you know well, more than any other member of this committee, that I've been a staunch supporter of whistleblowers and of the False Claims Act during the entire period of my role as a judge as well.
I'm going to set up a hypothetical fact pattern for you and ask you to tell me how you would handle it. The Justice Department and FBI receive information from over a dozen sources. That's the first one. Second, those sources provide similar information about potential criminal conduct relating to a single individual. And third, that information was shared with the Department and FBI over a period of years. According to department policy and procedures, what steps would the department take to determine the truth and accuracy of the information provided by those sources?
I'm sorry, these are whistleblowers, so they're internal sources, is that what you're saying? I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter where that comes from, just the fact that I want to know you got that information. How would you go about handling it?
Yeah, so reports of wrongdoing are normally reported to whatever the appropriate department component is. It might be U.S. Attorney's offices in the district in which it allegedly took place. It might be directly to FBI components and to FBI task forces. In cases involving whistleblowers, of course, there are specific provisions for making complaints to the Inspector General's office or the Office of Professional Responsibility or the Inspections Division of the FBI.
Recent lawfully protected whistleblower disclosures to my office indicate that the Justice Department and the FBI had at one time over a dozen sources that provided potentially criminal information relating to Hunter Biden. The alleged volume and similarity of the information would demand that the Justice Department investigate the truth and accuracy of the information. Accordingly, what steps has the Justice Department taken to determine the truth and accuracy of information provided? Congress and the American people, I think, have a right to know.
So as the committee well knows from my confirmation hearing, I promised to leave the matter of Hunter Biden in the hands of the U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware, who was appointed in the previous administration. So any information like that should have gone, or should have gone to that U.S. Attorney's offices and the FBI squad that's working with him. I have pledged not to interfere with that investigation, and I have carried through on my pledge.
In April 2022, you testified to Senator Hagerty that the Hunter Biden investigation was insulated from political interference because it was assigned to, as you just now told me, to the Delaware Attorney's Office. However, that could be misleading because without special counsel authority, he could need permission of another U.S. attorney in certain circumstances to bring charges outside the District of Delaware. I'd like clarification from you with respect to these concerns.
The U.S. Attorney in Delaware has been advised that he has full authority to make those kind of referrals that you're talking about, or to bring cases in other jurisdictions if he feels it's necessary. And I will assure that if he does, he will be able to do that.
Does the Delaware U.S. Attorney lack independent charging authority over certain criminal allegations against the president's son outside of the District of Delaware?
He would have to bring, if it's in another district, he would have to bring the case in another district. But as I said, I have promised to ensure that he's able to carry out his investigation and that he be able to run it. And if he needs to bring it in another jurisdiction, he will have full authority to do that.
If you provided the Delaware U.S. Attorney with special counsel authority, isn't it true that he wouldn't need permission of another U.S. Attorney to bring charges?
It's a kind of a complicated question. If under the regulations, that kind of act, he would have to bring to me, to the Attorney General under the regulations. Those kind of charging decisions would have to be brought. I would then have to, authorize it and permit it to be brought in another jurisdiction. And that is exactly what I promised to do here already. That if he needs to bring a case in another jurisdiction, he will have my full authority to do that.
Has the Delaware U.S. Attorney sought permission from permission of another U.S. Attorney's office, such as in the District of Columbia or in California, to bring charges? If so, was it denied?
So I don't know the answer to that. I do, and I don't want to get into the internal elements of decision-making by the U.S. Attorney, but he has been advised that he is not to be denied anything that he needs, and if that were to happen, it should ascend through the department's ranks, and I have not heard anything from that office to suggest that they are not able to do everything that the U.S. Attorney wants to do.
Well, let me give you my view. If Weiss, the U.S. Attorney there in Delaware, must seek permission from a Biden-appointed U.S. Attorney to bring charges, then the Hunter Biden criminal investigation isn't insulated from political interference, as you've publicly proclaimed. If the Justice Department received information that foreign persons had evidence of improper or unlawful financial payment paid to elected officials or other politically exposed persons, and those payments may have influenced policy decisions, would that pose a national security concern and demand a full investigation? And when Ray was here, he seemed to answer that question that it was a national security concern. I want your opinion.
In the way that if I follow the question exactly right, if it's an agent of a foreign government asking someone and paying someone to do things to support that foreign government in secret, yes, I definitely think that would be a national security problem.
Okay, my last question is to whistleblowers have confidentially asserted that the DOJ's Public Integrity Unit, I think I'm going to leave that question for another round. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks, Senator Grassley. Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Attorney General Garland, for being here.